Welcome to the stream. My name is Nick Larson, and today is May 9th, 2019. It's noon. I just finished lunch, and today we're going to get back to what we were doing yesterday, which is finishing up this JavaScript game for JS13K. It's like a practice thing. Should be plenty of videos that you can go check out on the website. Up to this point, we were basically had sort of some of the interaction stuff figured out, and then we got to the point where we wanted to build a world automatically so we could just sort of draw it and make it up as we go. And we were working on that yesterday, and we had a little bit of trouble getting the data from the image that we were using for it. But I think we've got that sorted out. And now what we need to do is get it in there. Today we were originally planning to get the size down to actual 13K, but I think we're going to save that for the last day because I just don't know what to do. Oops, got to make this 11. Yeah, we just got to get this done. And then we'll spend tomorrow trying to get it to 13K as best we can. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. Let's close this, because this isn't what we wanted. Open recent. There we go. Now we want to crush it over here. We want to pop it over here. We want to pull it over here. Okay. Let's get this fired up. Terminal, new terminal, WS. And I'm looking forward to getting this done. So I've been actually thinking about this quite a bit. And one of the things that I am most happy about on this project is like how much we've learned, despite the fact that when it's all said and done, it's not really going to be a game. Or it will be a game, it just won't be that cool. It won't be that polished. Let's get this going. Index. Nope. What am I looking for? Localhost 8000 index. That's right. And then I want this. Okay, so we actually have all of these things. Now what I want to do, we got load image. We got make grid. And then I had this thing called initialize world. Alright, so we call load image. And then we basically want to say initialize world. Initialize world. And then we're going to come up here to initialize world. And that's not where we're going to get the data. Instead, we're going to pop all this in here. All right, we don't need this. I think what we basically need is event. Okay. This gives us a canvas, sets the width and the height, gets us a context, we don't need this set anymore. That was just to make sure that we had actually collected all of the things that we want. Now we have the value, and now what we really want is world things, and then we want to make a decision based on world things. Alright, the world things, I feel like we can get rid of make grid here, so we're not going to use this anymore. Not really, I still need to know what this stuff is. Okay, so let's just move initialize world up. Okay. Initialize world. Now we're going over each one. We get the value. We go load the world thing. The world thing is either a wall, a floor, whatever. Basically what we want to do is create a cell based on these. Yep. That's what we want to do. So we already have most of these things. What we want to do is create a grid. So make grid sort of goes in here. And then I guess we could just have a function that actually does all of this stuff. So we have a grid. And then we have cells, which is make cells. And we could pass in the width and the height. Where is make cells? Oh, just going to have to use F12. Okay, make cells. This is what I would get rid of. This is what I feel like we need to get rid of. I also feel like we don't need this stuff anymore because we have walls as like an actual concept. So we would just leave walls empty for the most part. Okay, let's do this. We're going to make the grid. We're going to leave this off for now. Okay. What was I doing there? Cell dot element dot class list walls. All right, let's just have an add wall thing on here, I guess. Make it so that when you set walls, it does this automatically. All right, we need to remember this. So I like this idea of just using the make grid thing that we already have, wherever it is. Make grid. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say grid equals make grid. And we're going to pass in a width and a height. Level width. Level height. Level width, level height. Level width, level height, level width, level height, make cells. Is it rows or columns first? And this is where we need to go. 354. Height, width. height, width. Level height, level width. Okay, now all of these things are the things that I want to do later on. Okay. Hello everybody that's just joined. Right now what we're doing is we have an image that represents the world, and it's quite small. Oh, how do you scroll in? There we go. And each of the colors represents a different sort of a thing. Black is walls, and purple is like filing cabinets, and blue is doors, and this sort of pinkish is a door, and this orange is a door, and they all require different kinds of keys. And this lets us do like level editing by just manipulating an image. And then it'll just sort of build this thing out for us, and we're in the process of taking this image data and converting it into an actual world that will then display in our game window. Several? No, not really, man. I took all last week off, but thanks for showing up today. No, you really haven't missed a whole lot. I just have been out of town. It is, I know, man. It started with like nothing, right? It was fun. I was given a little thing earlier, and I was like, I just came to the realization that there's absolutely no way we're gonna finish this in 12 days, like I was originally planning, because today is the 11th day. But what I decided was, I have like learned an incredible amount in this process, and like as a learning exercise, it's been great. And I really feel like the way that I've approached it as far as like spending a set amount of time on each thing has really prepared me for the actual competition that's coming up in August. So it's been good. I think that's one of the things that like people sort of misunderstand about software development as well, is like there is an incredible amount to learn by like failing pretty hard. Like set out with a big goal, and then don't build it until you run yourself into a hole. Just move on to the next thing, and then just move on to the next thing, and then just move on to the next thing, and you'll learn so much more, and you'll get so much better at this so much faster than if you get stuck on one thing and grind away on it until you just, burn out on it and just don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, exactly. That, and also like stopping. My 2 hour thing has become pretty religious for me, as far as like, okay, at the end of 2 hours, let's wrap this up, because if I spend more time on this, I am going to lose my mind. I also like the chatting part of it. Makes it a lot more fun. Okay, so let's see. We're going through the image. We now have a definition of what these things are. And what we want to do is basically fire off one of these, depending on what each of the thing is. Okay, so let's just move this down so we can see it all on the same screen. Boom. That's cool, man. Yeah, I just finished up some lunch myself. All right. 0 is a wall. So that's what I want to say. Value. All right. Let value. And then I want to say let thing equals this. And I'm so good at naming. You have no idea. Just stick around. If thing equals wall, I guess equals wall, maybe what I really want to do is say world things 0, so that if I end up changing the name, then I can do something else. Okay. Let's just make it super explicit. I don't really like reusing the same thing in two different places, but I do like the explicitness of like the name of what I'm trying to do being right here next to the thing that I'm trying to do. All right, in this case, what I want to do is pop on some walls, which ought to be as easy as taking... I need to get the cell. Let cell equals grid.cells of get cell index. Whoa. Of get cell index row is R, call is C. Close parens. Alright, I now have the cell, and what I want to do is say cell.walls cell.walls. Is that actually how it works? Cell. I don't know why I put make cell all the way up here. Walls. Yep. And then how was I actually adding the walls? Let's go look at the history. Game. I was saying walls.push top. Alright, so I don't actually need this walls thing anymore. Walls.push. Really what I want is cell.element. And then I want to say wall top. Alright, let's just do it like this. Top, left, right, bottom, dot for each. Cell.element. There we go. That will add all of the walls. Then I want to say else if thing equals. We're not going to worry about floor at all. Instead, we're going to do locked door boss. Then what we need to do is make it a door. How are we going to make it a door? Feel like we had this figured out. Make item door. Cabinet. Desk. Couch. Where were we getting the door from? I might have just been... I might have just manually put it in there. I honestly don't remember how I got the door in there. I guess we can just search for door. Door. Oh, I called it the exit. Okay. Let's go find the exit. Name exit. Oh, there it is. Make item exit. Okay. Then what we want to do is say grid.items cell.items.push make exit row column. Locked is true. let's see what else we can figure out here. I need different kinds of doors. So this needs to be not the exit. This is the boss door. So we're just going to call this boss door. Door boss. And let's put a little to do. Door boss, CSS, etc. Yeah, today is finish up. Wow, wait, what's today? Today's the 9th? Oh man, I didn't write a to-do list for yesterday. 2019-05-09. Okay. Finish up drawing the board. And then I also need to make it so that the camera controller, because the board's now going to be too big to fit on one little screen at a time. You won't be able to see the whole thing. So we're going to need to make it so that you actually move around and the camera sort of shifts every once in a while. Okay, so this was, oops, door boss, CSS, etc. And then this needs to be, what did I do yesterday? Get image data in JavaScript. That's pretty much all we accomplished. Okay. Back to the game. So we're just going to take the easy way. We're just going to put door boss, and we're just going to assume that that's going to work. And we're just going to have to like fill it in a minute. But I guess for the sake of argument, just so that it actually shows up, we'll put exit. Yeah. Okay, filing cabinet. It should work just like this. This one now needs to be filing cabinet, and we actually know these. But I want to do something special with filing cabinets, which is let filing cabinets equal an array. And then we want to say this needs to be a filing cabinet, which I believe is one of these. Filing cabinets. Let's just go ahead and do it like this. Okay, var filing cabinet equals make filing cabinet of row and column, and then the items we're actually going to leave empty for now. All right, now we want to push in the FC, and we also want to say filing cabinets dot push FC. So what we're going to do later on is we're going to have a list of all the filing cabinets, and then we're randomly going to shove some data into each one, and then you have to walk around the whole office and try to find it. And the goal is that we just don't know where, like the challenge of the game is that we just don't know where the data is, and we have to go find it. And so we're just going to randomly shove it into ones. And you could see from the picture that all these purple things are filing cabinets, and there's quite a few of them around the office. So we've got to figure out how to get in there. And because of, you know, just the random nature of things, you should have to search pretty hard for it, is sort of the plan. And then the move counter will start to matter, because you'll basically get lucky or you won't get lucky. All right, so we have filing cabinets done. The next one is unlocked doors. So we want a door, and we just want to specify it as not locked. So basically we want to do the same thing as this. Only we want to call it unlocked door. Unlocked door. And we're going to make it locked false. All right, next one is window. Windows are a little more complicated, but we'll go ahead and take care of that in a minute. Windows are a little complicated because we're going to have to sort of adjust the light around the windows, which is one of the difficult things about this game is that it's initially dark and you have to find a flashlight and then stumble around this place in the dark. And there are windows and you can see around the windows, and we guarantee that you start next to a window so you can see yourself, and then you just sort of have to figure out where in the room the thing is, the flashlight is, which it will be guaranteed to be in the first room. And then after that, you sort of just look around for the data, get the server turned back on. So Windows. Nope, not what I wanted. Window. All right, and for this one, we don't actually have walls, but we're going to make them walls because you should not be able to walk through a window. There is no other things to put on here. And then we'll go through later and we'll do another pass to actually update the lights around the windows. Yep. We're going to do that later. Okay, it takes care of the windows. They act as walls. They have been pushed. They're called windows. They're pushed and they're called windows. Okay, we'll see if we can get that going. Windows, CSS, etc. Okay. Couch. This one's pretty simple. You just drop a couch. Really what I want to do is just copy this. Couch. I think I can just call this couch false, and then we don't need anything else. Make item couch. Okay, the next one is desk, which is very, very, very similar. In fact, it's exactly similar. You just put desk in there. Then we have locked door security. Locked door security. And for this one, we're again just going to put exit. And this one is actually locked. Okay, this one is locked. Then we're going to come around to the next one, which is the system. And the system booted false. Why is it that I made, oh, grid.system item? Because that's how I check system. Okay, let system item equal this thing. System item, and then grid dot system item equals system item. I guess we could just pop this up here. And then we could pop it in here. Trash that. Okay. That's it for the system. and then the player. Hooray. And for this one, we have a public thing. Is the case switches in JS? You know, honestly, I don't know. JavaScript switch statement. It appears there is a switch statement. So, yeah, there's the whole break thing. Yes, there is one. That's the short answer. I think I'm just fine with doing this if-else chain. There is like a very minimal performance improvement, I'm certain, by switching over to using a switch. See what I did there? But for the most part, like, this is a one-time thing that happens right when you load the level, and it's not like something that's happening constantly and eating up the performance, so I'm not going to worry about it that much. But that is a good call. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm not sure it would help the readability much either. Maybe? There's a lot of text in here. If I got rid of a lot of the text, maybe it would help. Or really, maybe putting the, like, what to do up here. Make each one of these a function and then just call it. And then it's directly tied to where it came from. Something like that. I don't know. Hey, I'm a C# dev too. Well, we both just learned something. What do you program? What do you work on? Okay. Player. Now I need to make the player. Right now, working on a company bot for Slack. That's cool. What does it do? I tried to do one of those about 2 months ago on stream. Had some trouble with it. Oh. Player. I know we need to make a player. Push player. Okay, so let's see how we used to make player. Player? I think player used to get player. Where's the diff? Whoa. Alright, player, there is a function called make player. Well, that's going to make it easy. Let's just do that. Okay. Player equals make player row column. And then we want to have cell.items.push player. Yeah, I was trying to build a Slack bot that sort of like a fun thing where you can like reply to somebody else's image and say like needs more whatever, and then what it would do is it would take that image, download it, slap another image on top of it, and then it would take whatever the resulting image was and push it back up. Fetching PR in DevOps, DMing reviewers if owner changes status, resolving comments and DMs owner if someone comments. Also sending group messages if there is PRs laying around that need love. That's awesome, man. That's a super valuable thing. So I guess you are in DevOps then? It's definitely one of my like least skillful areas. PRs get left around. That happens. I responded to one today that was created like 3 months ago, and I was like, ooh, I could use that. Full out Microsoft with Azure. That's cool, man. Or woman. I'm sorry, I can't tell from your name. But that's awesome. That sounds like a really good project. How long have you been working on it? And I guess the follow-up to that is, are you actually building it in C Sharp? Okay, player, we push the player. Oh crap, we didn't make keys? All this time spent and we didn't make keys? Or a flashlight, for that matter. Although the flashlight gets dumped on the one closest. Okay, the keys... I think maybe we'll push the keys... Oh, crap. Maybe we'll just give the keys to the person right off the bat. But I really like the sound effect that we made. That's hard. Okay, we didn't make keys. Let's go update that and make some keys. We need one more color for keys. All of that, we didn't make keys. Keys. Today specifically I was doing coworker exclusions, adding people's work schedule in a JSON. If they only work on Monday to Wednesday, they only get DMs Monday to Wednesday. People were complaining about getting messages on days off. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. That is awesome. How many people do you have at your company? This file open recent world. Zoom in. Okay, we need keys. Keys are gonna be I got too many purples in here. We're gonna have to start going with blues. Here's a blue. I think we're gonna put the keys. I think we're just gonna let the keys lie on the floor. Right outside. Oh, just one. I just want one. Right outside this door. There we go. More. Gonna start integrating the bot with Jira. So do y'all have like one bot for Slack, or is it like a bunch? Like, do you have to pull in whatever it is that you want into each one of your rooms, or is there just like one magic bot that you pull in, it just sort of does everything? Okay, save. One magic bot. That's cool. Yeah, people ask, I get this question all the time. I equate it to like, you know, back in the day there used to be like a bunch of different repos at your office, and each one of them like was responsible for one thing or another. And then there was also places where I've worked where there's like one gigantic repo and everything the company does is in said gigantic repo. So if you want anything from the whole company, it's just in one spot. Or it's organized where you sort of have to go out and like grab it from here and there and whatever it is that you're working on. And I used to go back and forth on it quite a bit, but I think I've gotten much more in love with like one giant repo as much as possible. At least on like, at least having one giant shared repo. You know, where the majority of your business logic lies. And your models. Int.parse. This is what we were doing yesterday. And we want number info.hex number. Play. Alright, this is our number. Close that. This is the keys. And I think we're going to eventually have to add in a couple more kinds of keys. But not today. I'm going to call this bold blue. As long as people don't work in the same file, I guess it works. It would be scary for me since I'm a junior dev, though. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like y'all are using Git for the most part, so like people working on the same file isn't that big of an issue. Mostly because you can sort of make changes and then just merge them up. But there were real concerns about that stuff back in the day. One of the first ones I worked on was this thing called Visual Source Safe, and you literally had to put like a file lock out there. You had to like send a message to a server that says, "I'm working on this file. Nobody else can work on this file right now." And then when you were done and you tried to commit it, it would say like, "Is the original one what I expected it to be?" If not, the answer was no, you could not push it. You had to delete your file or rename it, is normally what you would do. Then you would grab the latest from whatever, had been checked in, and then you manually had to merge it, and then you had to send it up. There was no like automatic, it's part of the workflow thing. It was very much like, "I'm working on this, don't touch this." But we don't do things like in large files. It's still like broken out. It was like one class per file or whatever. There was back then, yeah. Visual Source Safe is not fun. I don't recommend it. But there are, I mean, enormously better tools out there today, like Git, for instance, or Mercurial, or a number of others. And but yeah, I mean, it's part of it. I don't know how many people you have working on like the same things. Hey, thank you for the follow. I'm guessing your name is Albedo. Albibo. A1 Bibo. I'm gonna go with Albibo. Is that right? Yeah, thanks so much for the follow. I'll definitely drop your name in here in the show notes. Okay, keys. All right, I really want to get this thing to the point where we are drawing. I think we just want like this. And then we want keys. And then we want make item keys. All right, let's take a look here. We did the walls. Great. We did the player. Great. We did the keys. We've done an exit, but we didn't call it exit? No, we called a bunch of them exit. We have the flashlight. No, we don't have the flashlight. We need to put the flashlight. Okay. Now that we have gone through here, we know where the player is. Okay, so let's just say put the flashlight to do. Put the flashlight in the cabinet closest to the player. Okay. And then we have the data. Now the data, okay, to do randomly disperse some data around the office. And then we did the filing cabinets. We got those. We did the system. We did the desk. We did the couch. Bibo. A1 stands for Alexander NR1 out of my 4 other friends named Alexander. Oh, that's awesome. So, how long have you been a developer? And what kind of stuff interests you? Like as far as what do you want to build? What kind of problems do you want to solve? All right, we want to put the flashlight in the cabinet closest to the player. We know where the player is because we have the row and the column. So if I take a look at this image, that cabinet might not be close. Yeah, it's gonna work. All right, we're gonna move it over there. I think that's closer. Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna do like a little Manhattan distance calculation here. A little straight line distance, rather. I'm sorry, straight line distance, and say whichever one is closest. That's the one we're going to drop the flashlight in, and then that's that. So we're just going to loop over all of the filing cabinets. Okay. Let closest equals filing cabinets 0. And then we're going to say, yeah, let's just do it like this. Dist, const straight line distance equals function AB, and we're going to say return math dot square root. I've been studying. Now I've been working as a dev for 6 months. Right now I'm trying my hands at Node, TypeScript, React, Redux. But every time I try, I miss my C#. Was streaming some days ago. Took me 2 hours to figure out I cannot request in vanilla JavaScript due to Chrome restrictions. So I had to start a Node server. Yeah, that's software development. Those are the things you only have to learn once. But like, we run into that all the time. If you go back and watch a couple of my old streams when I was building the Slack bot, for instance, I was doing it in Node, and I am not super like familiar with Node. I feel pretty comfortable with JavaScript overall, but Node itself, not really. And yes, what I ran into was trying to send a multi-part submission to a Slack API. Could not figure it out. Could not. And like, you would see me actually get frustrated by the end of the stream to the point where I was like, I think we might stop this project. But then, you go and you take a nap and go to sleep, and you come back the next day and you try something new and you start making progress again. But yeah, I totally understand that. But again, it's one of those things. You just learn it once, and then after that, you really don't have to worry about it. All right. Yeah, Slackbot and C#, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love C#. I like typed languages in general. Again, I find myself like much faster with things that are not typed most of the time, however. Just out of like, not having to worry. Like if things break, you still notice it. Really, like a typed language is just one kind of test that you apply as you're writing the code. Square root a dot row times times b dot row plus, is that what I want to do? No, I want to do a dot b dot row minus a dot row, and then I want to square that, so math dot pow, yeah, like that, b dot row a dot row to the 2, and I want to say plus call to the 2. Also having a real problem with JavaScript being so forgiving. Oh, my syntax works. And in the browser console, it gives me 2 cores errors, and I don't even know what it is, so I can't really figure it out. Because problem was that requesting fine. Oh, because Postman was requesting fine, so I thought it was a matter of headers. Sat there for an hour. Yeah, there is an issue of headers, but with cores, the header needs to be from the origin that says you're allowed to do this. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, cores is one of those things that I have definitely looked up on multiple occasions because it always seems to strike you at weird times, and not all browsers give you good error messages for it either. Chrome is actually pretty good about that, but I've definitely had issues with like trying to understand that it was even a cores issue. It's just like, oh, some browsers are like, oh, I just can't find the thing. Yeah, you're not allowed to do this. All right, straight line distance and FC. We're going to say this is straight line distance of filing cabinets 0. And then we need a comma. All right, so we have the shortest one, and then we want to say for let I equals 0, I less than filing cabinets dot length. And honestly, we don't even need, you just skip one there. I plus plus. Let dist equals straight line distance of filing cabinets I. Why is that having trouble? Oh. If dist is less than closest dot dist, then closest dot dist equals dist closest dot fc equals filing cabinets of I. And then at the end of this, we basically want to make an item, which is a flashlight. And we want to put the flashlight in the FC. fc.items.push flashlight. Unlurk. What's up, Michael Jolly? Postman, Internet Explorer. All right, so what's the game here in RPG? Yes is the answer. What I am doing currently is trying to get it so that it actually shows up in here again. I had the like development version where I was building out the mechanics of the game was a very small like 8x8 world. It's a grid world and it's turn-based. So you move to the next cell, you move to the next cell, you move to the next cell, and as you try to move through the world, you interact with different items. And the goal is that you are trying to basically get this, you're trying to get the server back online, you're trying to get the system back online, and the system is hidden away in a closet somewhere. And you have to find the keys in order to open the doors to then find the data. It's nighttime, so there's this like flashlight that you have to get right at the beginning. And once you get the flashlight, you can see around you, and that's it. And then you sort of have to walk around this office, find the keys, find the data, eventually get to the system, turn the system back online, and then you got to leave the building. And that's the whole goal. And at the beginning, you don't really know what's there. And then the real trick of all of this is practice for a game competition called JS13K, which I highly recommend checking out the website because there's some really cool stuff. JS13Kgames.com. And the trick of it is you have to fit the entire game into 13 kilobytes. And it has to run in a browser. And so far we're doing pretty good with that. I feel like I think we're right around 7 or 8 kilobytes, with the exception of the audio. The audio is just way too big right now, but it's like the audio really makes the game for you or doesn't make the game for you. And so the last day is going to be figuring out a new way to do the audio to compress it down to get it in there. But hopefully by the end of today, we'll be able to walk around the world, and then we'll be able to zip it all up and see where we're at. And that's the plan. That's what we're going for here. But yeah, check this out. There is so much cool stuff. Just go to the winners and like take a look at some of these games. I'm not going to play them now because I will get sniped and I will be playing these games for like 30 minutes, but they are incredible. I mean, they're just really really incredible. Take a look at some of these and then just try to remember as you're playing them that all of this fits in 13 kilobytes. And it's just like it's pretty mind-boggling. But here's a link. There you go. Okay. All right, so we got the flashlight. We put the flashlight in the cabinet that is closest to the person where the person starts. So we're good with that one. Now we need to randomly disperse some data around the office. And for the sake of argument, we're just going to do one for now. Is there a random? Oh, I don't know how to do random in JavaScript. JavaScript random. I wish I could tell Google that I don't want W3 schools first. Just give me MDN. I wish I could do that. Okay, get random int math.random. You got it. Get random int. That's what I want. Get random int. And now let's give a little attribution. Control A, Control C. And then let's say disperse some data. All right, we have the data, and then what we want to do with the data, 0, 0. And then what we want to do with the data is say something like filing cabinets, get random int of filing cabinets dot length, and then dot items dot push data. Okay, and that's it. That should build our world. And now that we have built the world, I forget what we need to do. That's a great question. The hell do we need to do after we build the world? Probably run game. That makes sense. So let's call load image, and let's call run game. Okay, so load image, callback. Nope, that's not really going to work. That's not really going to work. Okay. We're just going to call run game at the end of it. I'm just not going to worry about it. Figure out a way to make it better later. Like, we've written so much code here, I have no doubt in my mind this is going to fail. So we're going to say set timeout. And then we're going to say run game. And we're going to put this at 1. Okay. So hopefully this gets all the way through, builds the world, and then it's going to display it and run the game. And then the only thing that we're going to have to worry about after this is how to set up a camera. Okay, let's just give it a shot. Let's just give it a shot, because I'm sure there's going to be an error. You just can't write this much code without there being an error. There we go. Cannot read property row of undefined on 393, which is math.square root. Oh, well, obviously, because I didn't pass in a b. So we want to do this. And then we want to say closest dot fc. Oh. Oh my goodness. There is no way. Oh man. Why is my world stuck at this size? Holy cow, that's a huge DOM. Okay, well no wonder this is going to be slow. That's a huge DOM. Okay, let's see. Are there actually 10,000 of these things in here? Wow, there are. There's actually 10,000 of these things in here. There is a legit 10,000. Yep. Show all. Okay, wow. Okay. So we have this thing called a grid, and we manually made it 400 by 400. That's bad. What we really want to do is make that dependent on the size of the board. Okay. Yeah, that's the same face I made. Okay. They're 50 by 50, and there's 100 of them, so we want 5,000 is what we really want here. 5,000. And then we also want the height to be 5,000. Top 50%, minus 200. Yeah, no, we want it to be minus 2,500. Yeah, minus 2,500. And then the margin left, we also want to be minus 2,500. Okay, now let's zoom way the ass out and see if we can get it all on the screen at once. Maybe? Let's move this thing over. Okay. Well, I didn't do the light for the windows, but we are somewhere up here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to just turn the lights off for a moment and see if it actually drew everything as we had intended for it to. Lights. Really what I want to do is just... Oh my goodness. Look at that. It drew the world. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, look. Here's our little player. Right there. Here is the desk that you start by. Oh, you know what? The windows didn't come out. Gosh, the windows didn't come out separate. Crap. How are we going to deal with that? Can I move? Oh wait, I gotta do that. Look, it's actually doing it. Oh, I didn't get the flashlight. Okay, there's the desk. And now we go through this conversation. Wait. Oh no. My blue doors are locked. You must boot the system before you can exit. Oh no. Oh, I see. I went onto a door and it thinks that that door is the exit. So I need like a unique exit for this one up here. Okay, so let's just start making a list here. Okay. Unique exit color for the terminal check. Really need to get the windows done. Okay, let's go back. And then it's not picking up the keys. Aw. Okay, so we got to figure out why it's not picking up the items. And let's figure out what this is trying to write. Okay, we got to figure out why it's not picking up the items. That's the first thing. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we had to zoom way out in order to make this work. I wonder if there's a better way that we can do this. Crazy? That's crazy. Okay. Okay, let's see. How far out do I need to zoom? And then I think what we're going to do is instead... I didn't catch the zoom level. 33. Okay, 25. So let's take the grid. No. Let's wrap the grid. All right, let's wrap the grid in... Let's wrap the grid. I don't know if I can actually do this. We're going to have to do this in here. I want to wrap the grid in something that is like the window, and then I can scale the contents of the window, I believe. Or can I just scale the grid directly? Will that work? I want it to center when I scale it. How do you do a scale? See, is it scale? No. That would have been way too easy. Translate, transform, scale. Ah, crap. And then I want 0.25. Okay, now I ought to be able to pull this back up to 100%. Am I at 100? There we go. Okay, now I'm at 100. So for some reason... Alright, for some reason it's not picking up the items, and I want to pick up the items. And I want to scale the... Alright, let's change these. And let's apply the scale. Let's do that. That'll be super simple. Grid. 5,000, 5,000. Minus 2,500, minus 2,500. Transform scale 0.25. Okay, let's refresh. Let's also turn the lights kind of... Let's leave the lights on. Background, we're just going to make this, I don't know, 0.09. Okay. Alright, we're not... For some reason, we're not interacting with that. Okay, this door is unlocked, and we can't pick up the keys. So I want to figure out why the keys aren't being picked up first. Control F, console.log. Okay. And then what I want to do is say something like create element. Why is it not picking up the items? So as you move, we need the move handler. Move handler. Alright, we are moving. Can move there is interact with items. Interacting with the items. Cell.items. I'm just going to console.log cell and see what ends up happening here. If I had to guess, I'm just not sure. I just really don't know. We're just gonna have to debug it. Okay. Filing cabinet. Okay, so it doesn't have any items. Okay, let's go see about the key. Yes, you. Walls. Oh, look, it does have items. Okay, it does have items. Keys. So, oh, collectible false. Oh, that's the problem. Collectible needs to be true. Okay. So when I make the keys, they need to be collectible. Okay, the data is also collectible. And I was supposed to put a flashlight somewhere. What I want to do... Oh, it's closest dot... And there you go. Closest.fc.items. There we go. And then we ought to just console.log the closest.fc. That's what I want to do to make sure that the item is actually in there. Refresh. Okay, so this is telling me that... Oh, man. So this is telling me that the filing cabinet does have the item, and it's at row 10, column 24? Oh! Yeah, another mistake. This doesn't need to be... This needs to be the player. Not the closest. Okay. And now it should put it in this room. Alright, let's go put my settings on so y'all can actually hear the music. Alright, so this time it put it at 1067. Okay. Okay, so now I think we're actually going to find the flashlight this time. Oops. Hey, alright, the flashlight. And you can see now that it's actually doing the work here. What? I just walked right through a wall. Oh, crap all. You know why? Because I didn't populate the walls correctly. Alright, then we got the keys. So now we ought to be able to unlock the doors. I have no idea where in this place the data is. Not in there. Not in there. This is the funny part of it. Okay, these are the bathrooms. Where's the data? Come on now. I don't think we're going to find the data. Can I cheat? Can I cheat? That would be too hard. Would it? No, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's just go see if it's in here and if it's not in here. So we got the key now. We ought to be able to unlock this door. It's going to give us some crap about... Okay, yeah, you must boot the system before you can exit, but that's fine. Oh, got the data. Alright, let's go turn the system on. Almost done here. Quite the large office. Wait, we can just walk through walls because I screwed that up. Okay, now we have turned that on, and now if we go all the way to the lobby... Now if we go all the way to the lobby... we should be able to get out of here. Alright, and it works. Okay, so we gotta fix the walking through walls thing. We gotta get the window light done, but I'm not gonna worry about the window light. Let's get the walking through walls thing done, and then let's try to beat it for real. And then I want to get the camera controller going. So we've got about, like, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes left today. I want to get a camera controller going so it sort of follows you around and you get to see it in full screen. And the way that we'll do that is anytime you move, like, we'll just sort of put you in the middle of the screen, and then anytime you move, we'll actually just move the world. Yes, that's my plan. No idea if it's going to work, but I feel pretty confident about it. Okay, so we need to make the walls so you can't walk through the walls. The way that we do that is when we create walls, we do this. We say cell.walls equals that, and then we say cell.walls. There we go. And then I think we have to do the same thing for the windows. Cell.walls equals that. Cell.walls okay. Now let's put some CSS in there for the windows. Dot item dot window dot before, and then let's go to a little bit of emoji window. That's not cool. Emoji window. No. Window? Really? That's the best you're gonna give me? I want like an actual window. I'm gonna end up being kind of surprised. Window? There's no window. Seriously? Seriously? Window? Department store, person getting haircut. That's what you came up with. When I typed in window, you came up with person getting haircut. Sometimes I wonder why there's not emojis for everything. Like, seriously, there are so many symbols in the world. And I don't see one at all. Symbols? Objects. Brick, compass, lighthouse, luggage, world map. That kind of looks like a window. That kind of looks like a window. You know, if you step back and you view it real small, it kind of looks like a window. I think that's the one I'm going to go with. Unless somebody has a better idea. Window? Abacus. We have an abacus and we don't have a window. Camera. Maybe a magnifying glass. Page, scroll, newspaper, rolled up newspaper, label, money, dollars, envelope, receipt, credit card, post office. I think map is winning right now. I think microscope, bathtub, a pill, potable water. Okay, yeah, I think we're going with map. Certainly not the best one, but for the size that we're looking at, it kind of makes sense. It looks the closest. Let's give it a shot. Okay. Alright, that's what windows should look like. I think walls. Okay, that's the windows. Let's see. Now let's make it so that it is not dependent on this. Okay, so these right here. Okay. So at the time that we make the game, we want to take the grid and we want to change the CSS for the grid. I believe you can change the CSS for the grid by just specifying it on the element itself. Probably the best way to do that. Not 100%, but we're going to just give it a shot. Okay, game. At the time that we make the grid is make grid, and in make grid we have this element and we want to say grid.element.height, or is it .css? JavaScript set element height. DOM style height property. Style.height. Style. Okay, style height. Dot style dot height equals plus level height, width, level width. I don't want to set the scale. Now what I want to do is set, great, where are, okay. I think the next thing to do is get rid of these styles so that we can tell whether or not they're actually working. And we're not going to worry about the margin. And we're not going to worry about the scale. And then when I load this up, this should basically be, it makes it the correct size. That didn't work at all. Oh, because I have to multiply it times 50. Level height times 50. Level height times 50. Okay, one more time. And I expect the center of the very top left corner to be right in the center of the screen. Okay, great. We need to change the CSS for this to always be on top. Oh, that's part of that. Oh, crike. Crap. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix that. I don't think there's any Z index I can set here that'll fix this. Crap. Of course there's not. That would be way too easy. All right. I have to come up with a new way to do that. Okay. Fix inventory Z index. Okay. All right, we have the height and the width. Now what we want to do is set the transform every time you move to represent your new location. That's exactly what we want to do. The idea being that you should always be in the center of the screen. And then as you move, the world sort of moves around you. That's the plan. So we're going to say the old set player location. Okay. Move camera. Const update camera. And we're going to take in the player. And then the idea is, or really what we're going to do, oh crap. Okay, here it is. And we're going to say this is actually the object. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say grid dot element dot style dot transform equals and then we're going to say, all right, so as far as the transform goes, CSS transform translate TX TY offset X offset Y. So what we're going to do is basically subtract out however far across the player is, or the object being passed in, and then the object that we're going to pass in is always going to be the player for now. So basically what we want is left. Let left equals minus 50 times object dot call, and then we're going to say let top equal minus 50 times object dot row, and then we're going to say transform equals translate plus left plus comma plus top plus quotes. And then we're just going to say update camera player. Let's put this, it's the lighting. Okay. Okay. No idea. Oh, you know what? We don't want to only do it here. We want to do it when we finish building the world. Make item, render item, start game. Right? Run game. Render grid. Update camera. I think so. Again, changing a lot here. So not 100% sure if this is actually going to do it. It did not appear to do it. Let's take a look at the grid. Okay, the height and width got set correctly, but I don't see the transform being set. Did I save? Yes, I did. I also don't see any errors. Okay. Console.log. Let's get rid of that. Next. Make world. Is anything calling this? No. Okay. Console.log. Initialize world. Okay. Control F. Console.log. We got the closest one. We've taken care of that. Now what we need to do is make sure that the player update camera, grid.element.style.transform. Okay. Console.log grid.element.style. So after every time this gets called, we ought to be logging. Okay. This doesn't really want to move. Let's get to T's. Transform. Transform. Why is that not being set? Why is that not being set? Oh, also notice it's not being called when I move. Update camera. Update camera. What would cause me to leave this? Player. Why is this not being called? Console.log object. Oh. Okay. Okay. Not helping. Can I set the transform here manually? Transform. Transform. Translate. Oh, stop doing that. Just stop it. Come on. Transform. Translate. Negative 250 px minus 250 px. That did exactly what I wanted it to do. Why is setting the transform not working? I am manually setting the transform. And then if I go to, like, you know, minus 2500, that is sort of where I want to be, but I really want to be at, like, minus, I don't know, 3000? No. Yeah, there's my player. Oh, crap. Why can I not move? Oh, this. Oh. Oh. Okay, I gotta get rid of these bars. I have to get rid of these bars. It's not moving my transform. Transform. Translate. That works just fine. PX. Am I doing that right? Maybe that's the problem. Oh, no, I'm not. It's like this. PX. and px. That's my guess. It was getting an invalid value. That's my guess. I don't know if this is correct or not. That element dot style dot transform. No, don't do that. I want to get rid of the scroll. Oh, look at that. There we go. Alright, now we have the flashlight. You must boot the system before you can exit. Alright, we gotta finish. We got the keys. I really don't want to look around for the data. No, not there. Not there. I guess these people's offices don't really need to be this large. Like, you could play soccer in this office. It'd make this whole thing a whole lot faster if there wasn't so many DOM elements. Nope. Oh, I somehow got myself into a wall. Ah! Okay. It allows you to go into the wall, but now you can't come out of the wall. Yeah, that makes sense. So I need to find out if there is a wall there. I have to put a wall here, but if there was a wall there, it shouldn't allow me in. It should be just like running into one of these. It should not allow you in. And that's why they're... Okay. Can enter a wall, but not leave. Okay. Alright, camera controller, finish up drawing the board. I think more or less those two things we can agree on have been accomplished. Let's turn the lights back on. Off, rather. Turn it to like, I don't know, 85 or something. So it's not entirely dark, but it's mostly dark. Okay, you can kind of see. Okay, now you can see around you. I do want to fix the door thing. What's over here? Come on, data. You can do it. Nope. And I got myself stuck in a wall. Okay, let's fix the wall thing. You can enter, but you can't leave. So... the way that we're going to handle that is you are going to interact with the items that are there. And how are we going to determine that you can't leave? Don't know. Okay. I guess I could just put a wall object in each one. How am I actually determining whether or not you can leave? Handle player move. Okay, interact with items. Okay, old cell dot walls. Let's just add a new cell dot walls. Okay. And new cell dot walls. I don't have a new cell. Okay. If the old cell not equals the new cell, then basically we just want to say this again. If you can enter new cell walls.index of bottom, can move there. I don't want it to be const, I want it to be let can move there. Equals false. Okay, and then I want to say new cell, new cell, new cell. A is left, so we need to do right, top, bottom. Okay, that should fix the walls. I gotta fix the scroll next. Oh crap, you can't move at all. Okay, yeah, I screwed this up. I think I want it to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Refresh. Click. Okay, you can't enter the wall. There we go. Okay. Alright, I got me a flashlight. I think I want to... Oh, it's shining into the wall. And it's shining into the wall because I don't have a wall on my side of it. Alright, the flashlight is sort of like the bane of this whole thing. It's really turning out to be extraordinarily bad. Alright, if I press... I gotta get rid of this scrolling ability. So I need to intercept space and basically just return nothing so that it doesn't scroll when you press space. I think maybe... We already have handle player move. No, because it happens even when we're on that. So really I want like... Okay. Handle key event, key press, Control F. Key press. Key press. I think event dot prevent default is what I want. Right, so you know what, let's go ahead and move that up. So prevent default, is that event JavaScript event.prevent default? Yeah, okay, prevent default. So we want to prevent the default, and then we want to do whatever it is that we want to do. Okay, so by preventing the default, that should take care of the scrolling. True or false? Did I save it? Refresh. Play. Yeah, there we go. I can hit space all I want now. Okay, I want to get rid of this scroll. So how do we do that? I think we go to body and we set the max height to be 100. Negative. Padding 0. Overflow hidden? Ah, there we go. It's overflow hidden. Okay. I don't even think we need max height. I think it's just overflow hidden. Oh, that was weird. It didn't make my noise. Kind of frustrated about that. Okay, let's turn this console.log off. And then I want to say overflow hidden on the body and the HTML. Overflow hidden. Okay. Refresh. Why did I lose my sound? Unable to play unloaded sound effect flashlight. Oh, I went to prevent default. Oh. Come on. I'm going to just say if sound initialized. Okay, how do I check that? Sound. Where's my files? Audio. If audio body. Okay. Audio body. What if we don't do this? In here we say Oh, actually, we already have this. Okay. We don't need this console log anymore. Although it sort of does help. What we're going to do is we're going to say prevent default. What we're going to do is we're going to say if equals null, or actually just if this, okay, we got the audio now. Okay, back. Okay. All right. All right, we have drawn the world. We've got the walls working. We still have a lot of problems. Oh, that's interesting. Notice that... Get me out of here. Notice that the move thing moves around with it. That's kind of weird. I want the move counter to be static on the page. But it doesn't appear to be that way. Inspect. Move counter. How am I going to find the move counter? Where is the move counter? Increment move counter. Move counter. Control F for move counter. Create element. That seems to be correct. What am I attaching it to? Increment move counter. Grid. I am making it a child of the grid. And so when I translate the grid, I am translating that. Alright, so really what I want to do is wrap everything in like a game window. Really what I want to do is wrap everything in a game window and then start attaching things to the game window. Render grid. What does render grid actually do? Okay, so I have this thing called body. How many places am I using body? Oh, 8. Ouch. Okay. Then what I want is something like const game window equals create element, which I can't really do because it hasn't been called yet. Our function hoisting, whatever, just move this down. Game window, create element, div, game. And then I want to say body dot append child game window. Then I want to go and find all the places that I call body and switch it out for game window where it makes sense. Game window. The leaderboard does attach to the body. The body does have set attribute view game. Yep. Show leaderboard, that is also correct. Render game window. Add event listener. I definitely want that on the body. Grid.element. No. Game window. Okay, let's see what I broke there. We definitely need a CSS the game window. Dot game. The game height 100%, width 100%, position absolute, top 0, left 0, z index, I think just make it like 3 or something like that, and then play view. Should put in view. Okay, there's only one view. I think that's gonna work. Hey, all right, we got the move thing up there. Okay, we got the moves up there. All right, the next thing we need to do is get the inventory to show up at the bottom. I'm just gonna put that on the list. Not gonna worry about it. Get the inventory to show up at the bottom. Can enter a wall but not leave. Alright, fix. That's the same thing as get the inventory to show up. Unique color for the terminal check, Windows, CSS, Boss, Dora, etc. Alright, so just a lot of cleanup stuff really. But overall, the game is there now. Okay, so tomorrow is the last day, Friday, and the only thing that we need to do is get this to compress down into 13 kilobytes. Let's just sort of see where we're at right now so we can kind of figure out how far away we are. We need app and game. I think those are the only ones. Yeah, world.js isn't really used. Delete this. Okay, so we have audio and JS. Close. Flashlight, door lock, build. All right, call uglify. We want to zip app.js, index, styles.css. We also need the world.png. World.png. And then, yeah, let's just see how this goes. View terminal, new terminal, build. Okay. 8.3 kilobytes. So quite a bit of space to work with for getting the audio in there. But if we were to actually include the audio, I think we're going to be way off. So let's just go ahead and do that. Star.m4a. Will that work? That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, all right. Okay, and we're at, 233 kilobytes. So we're only off by like 220 kilobytes. That's not the end of the world. I think we can figure that out. This has been great. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I feel like we made a lot of progress. Again, this isn't really going to be like a finished and polished game. I feel like the idea is there. Learned a lot about how to organize these things. Learned a lot about how a lot of the different components work around like audio and whatnot. Definitely, it's kind of slow. I think that's got a lot to do with how many DOM elements there are, and maybe making a smaller DOM would be an improvement. Like for instance, if I hold on to the thing, you can see it sort of jumping around. Let's come out here into an open area. if I like hold on to it, you can see it basically just popping around. I would really want to draw a lot more often. Like I would want to almost set a timeout for each move to enforce that it gets redrawn before it'll do it again. But yeah, that's it for now. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna raid. Let's go ahead and raid. I just saw Michael Jolly started, so let's go ahead and see if the Michael Jolly is available for raid. The Michael Jolly. All right, I'm going to send everybody over there. Again, thank you everybody for joining. I really, really, really appreciate it. We're going to get this all wrapped up tomorrow, and then we're basically going to do a write-up about it and say, you know, thanks. And talk about all the things that we learned and all of that. It's been a lot of fun. Thank y'all for hanging out. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the conversation. I really appreciate it, and I will see y'all tomorrow, same time. We'll be ready to go here in like 5 seconds. I don't have any icons yet, so like when you get there, just say hi. You know, pop a little message in chat, and that's it. And other than that, y'all have a good weekend.